This case was filed by you, Mr. Brown. In your petition, you indicated that the defendant, um, they looks like they owe you. You're saying that they owe you $736.88 for the cost of repairs and court costs. And this case was filed on August the 15th, 2025. You provided me
Right.
with a mobile mechanic services invoice, and this invoice states that you were charging $591.88. The defendant filed an answer with the
Correct.
court. The answer was filed on September 8th of 2025. In their answer, they state that on the 15th, they had the repairs done, and that on the 19th they they paid you via
Mhm.
Venmo, and that your notice or your contract does not state when you are to expect payment. So that's what I have right now
Okay.
in regards to this particular case. So this is what's going to happen next is I'm going to give you, Mr. Brown, the opportunity to prove to me why they owe you the amount of money that you stated so in your petition. All right. And while you're speaking, I'm going to ask that you, Miss Bain, refrain from interrupting him. I want to hear everything that he's saying. And again, I've already gone over what I received, so I want to make sure that that's
Gotcha.
clear. All right. So while you're speaking, Mr. Brown, Miss Bain is going to respect you, and then afterwards, Miss Bain is going to get the opportunity to defend herself, and I want to make sure that you give her the opportunity to speak without any interruptions as well. Okay, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's going to be plain and simple. We're going to respect each other, but I'm also going to make sure that I develop the facts of the case by asking questions to make sure I can make a good decision regarding this particular suit. So, with that being said, Mr. Brown, tell me why you feel like they owe you the amount of money that you put in this petition. Go ahead.
Well, I got a phone call. They wanted the vehicle repaired. The date that they made the phone call, I didn't make it. I actually was booked that day, and I forgot about them at the end of the day. I got to them the next morning. Got there about 9. Did the
What day?
repairs.
What
Say
day?
again.
What day was
The
that?
day were the day I was supposed to show up was on the 14th.
What-
I didn't.
Okay.
14th of August, I believe.
All right. So August 15th, you showed up.
Yes, on the 15th that morning I showed up. I got there. There was tools on the floor. There was boxes on the floor, debris from the fender. I assumed he tried to fix it himself because when I seen the knock sensor, it was tripped. So I'm like, well, I got to figure out how to get this off. This is a 2014 Dodge Ram 3500 with a 6.7 liter Cummins. Uh, just a regular mechanic won't touch a Dodge or won't touch a diesel. A lot of mechanics won't touch the diesel. I work on everything. I get there, like I said, the knock sensor was stripped. There is a brain that's plugged to it, so you have to bolt it down as well. So you're in an awkward position trying to put a nut on a bolt, and also I got a strip knock sensor. So it took me from 9 to about 2:40 to get all of the repairs completed. The truck has a beauty ring that's on the fender. Uh, they, like I said, somebody tried to fix it before I got there, and they couldn't. And the beauty ring was damaged as well. So I was asked to fix that as well. So I had to go to the parts store, get parts, come back. And I'm a Marine. I'm a neat freak. So I made sure I fixed that right and cleaned it up. And I cleaned up my mess when I got through. I put the tools he left on the floor. I put them on the shelf with all the other tools that were laying up there. And I went in to give him the invoice, and I talked to the receptionist. She called a lady on the phone. She said my prices were too high. They said they had already started on it, and all I had to do was get the knock sensor off. So, and I was like, well, the knock sensor was stripped, so it's not easy to just take off a knock sensor. Plus, it's up in the top of the engine, and there's limited space. Uh, I got it off. I did the repairs, and all I got was, we're not paying that. That's too much. I'm like, well, it's easy for someone else to put a dollar amount on your work. I was there for quite a while, and I fixed what I was supposed to fix. When I got through with the repairs, I put my OBD on it, and there was about 30 codes, and I showed all the codes to the receptionist. I said, well, that knock sensor threw a lot of codes. I cleared them. I let it run to make sure the sensors you know, the sensor was good and nothing popped back up. So the check engine's lights off. The fenders were, you know, it's fixed. Everything's cleaned up. You know, why didn't she want to pay? And like she was like, well, I'm not in this. This happens a lot. And I'm like, okay. Another guy was there, a black guy. I think he cleans up or whatever. He said that's how they do people, quote unquote. This is what he said. And she was like, well, I'm not in this. I'll give her a call back later. We tried about 3 times that day to call. I said, well, I'm not going to argue with it. I got customers waiting on me. So I left. I called Saturday. I called Sunday. I called Monday. Uh, I think the 15th might have been Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure. I have a calendar sitting in front of me. But when I went to your office, I actually seen you come out and you went back in. But I I called the office again and I said, well, I'm gonna give them about 10 minutes before I go in and file this paperwork. Can you call them? So she said, well, I'll try. We hang up. I waited 10, 15 minutes. I went in and I filed the paperwork. So around, let's see, September the 3rd, I get a phone call from, I think it's Damon. And he's calling me a crackhead. He's calling me a dope addict. He hangs up in my face. He's calling me back. He sent me all kinds of text messages. Um, I printed them out. I don't know if you can see them or not, but
I
I
don't
didn't
have
hear from them till September 3rd.
I don't
Say
have the
again?
text message so forth. Let's kind of get into so let me just ask you this. You did the work.
Yeah,
You
and I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid till later on that week. The
so
next,
how much did they pay you?
they paid me 540. Let's see here. They paid me 540.78.
They didn't pay you the taxes that you were charging them.
No, she said over the phone after I done the repairs that they're tax exempt. I'm like, well, they should have told me that stuff up front, you know, when they called and had me come out and do repairs. Or when they called back and said, hey, can you fix that fender? They want to buy the car tomorrow, that truck tomorrow. I'm like, okay, fine.
Did
Nobody
she
said anything about being tax exempt.
did
Otherwise,
she
I'd never put it on the invoice.
is this your first time performing work for them?
I have actually, I've dealt with them before, but it was helping them sell a Honda.
Okay, but
I did a pre-purchase inspection for them for a
okay.
customer.
Did, did, did you invoice them on
The customer paid me. They didn't pay me. The
okay.
customer that
So
bought the vehicle from them paid me.
okay. So this is your first time actually invoicing the Woodway Car Center.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Did she provide you with the 501c3 or the nonprofit uh IRS determination letter that shows that they are a nonprofit? They don't have to pay the taxes?
No.
Okay, she just told you that. Okay. All right. And
Correct.
so right now I'm
She
assuming that
told me. She told the reception that.
so what I'm getting right now is that you're still seeking what was due for his taxes and the court cost
Mm-hmm.
that was paid.
Court fee.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let me do this. Let me move on to the defendant. Ms. Bang, you've heard the case against you so far. Tell me why you feel like you shouldn't have to pay the court costs and taxes that he's charging you.
Well, I don't think that we should have to pay that because first off, in the invoice that we received, it never states this is due within, net 30 or, same day. And with that being said, my office manager had offered him a check, but he wanted to be paid via Venmo. So we paid him within 2 business days. Never did we receive a phone call saying that he was going to go file a claim or something in 10 minutes. And I've never did that come to my attention.
So
Um,
y'all did offer to pay him 2 days after he made the service bill via check.
and we offered to pay him the same day he was there with the check, but he wanted to be paid via Venmo. Because the office manager doesn't have access to the Venmo. And so she had access to a check. So she had offered to write him a check, but he preferred Venmo. And
That
she
was
had already, I'm sorry,
the same day.
same day when he was there. Yes.
So what you're telling me is that after he performed the services, there was no one saying that, hey, we're not paying that amount, the whole 9 yards.
No. No, and I don't know like where this other story is, coming from about, that my employees, said, that's how they do people a lot and or what he said, that's how they do people and
That's all hearsay. I wasn't
yeah,
at the
That's
meeting,
yeah.
hearsay.
okay.
But he was offered a check
I wasn't.
and he
So hold on. So as I stated before, the hearing started. We're going to respect each other.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, I'm going to ask that you refrain from making comments while Ms. BAME is speaking. She respected you while you were speaking. She did not interrupt you at all. So with that being said, this is your warning. I would hate to go to the next measure, which is other alternatives the court can make whenever someone is disrespecting the court. Okay, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Ms. May.
I just feel like this is a waste of time for the court, for you. I mean, we, paid this bill already within a very timely manner. We pay all of our bills. We've, Woodway Car Center has been in business like 37 years and we've owned Woodway Car Center for about 8 years. I just was absolutely astonished and embarrassed whenever, we were served papers, by law enforcement at our place of business. Quite embarrassing. I mean, really, it seems like this should be going the other way around with, you know, makes us look like we don't pay our bills and we do,
So
clearly.
let me get this straight. The work was done on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all actually paid him via Venmo on the 19th.
Yes, sir.
So it wasn't even a week after the
No,
work was
sir.
done.
It was not. And these are the papers that I dropped off to you. And let me see. Shows the date.
What about what about the proof of uh that you're tax exempt? Did anyone ever provide him with that proof? Is it still,
I'm not sure about that. I wasn't there at that point.
do you have that proof that shows that you're tax exempt and you're not required to pay sales taxes to vendors?
I could get that. I don't have it like in my paperwork right here, but
How long will it, because that's part of what he's suing, is not only the 4510, but the court costs as well. So that's part of his case. So how long will it take you to provide not only the court, but him with proof that you are tax exempt from paying sales taxes to vendors?
I would have to look into it a little bit more. I'm working from home today and that'd be something that'd be at the office. But I mean, back to like what he was saying, I mean, yes, we did feel like we were overcharged for, the job. And yes, my husband Damon had already like, had it taken apart for him. So it was supposed to be like a plug and play type of situation. And, then it was, um, we already had customers that were wanting the vehicle and he was supposed to show up, just very unprofessional, didn't call us, just no showed. So, we had to send our customers back home and that's just, you know, like if you're going to have a business and do a job, then to make appointments, other people are relying on you too. So we expect for you to show up. And then, I mean, it was just like an unprofessional thing altogether. And I mean, from what I was told, it seemed like he was on something, but like I said, I wasn't present. It was just this really strange situation, how somebody would go to the court, within one business day of you to not have paid them whenever it doesn't say that anywhere on, his invoice, which I have right here.
Let me go back to Mr. Brown. That,
Yes, sir.
that, her statements, need to be clarified a little bit better. Um, after you, because it does not say so on your sales invoice when payment is due. Do you have any documentation of any communication between you and Woodway Car Center that would, provide that you can provide to me that shows you inform him that payment is due at a certain time?
No, I don't have any paperwork. Um, well, I will say this: you go to any shop in America and you get a car fixed, you gotta pay for it to get your car back. And I was just under the assumption that's one and one is two. You get a car fixed, you're supposed to pay when it's completed. I didn't get paid for 4.5 days. And she said business days. If you're open on a Saturday, I can consider that a business day. I'm open on Saturdays.
I can't go by assumptions, and I
Right,
understand
right,
what you're
right.
saying.
Okay, I
I
understand.
understand what you're saying. I take my car to the Nissan dealership, and before I can get it, I have to make the payment. I have to. Well, first of all,
Correct.
I have to agree for them to make the do the repairs to my vehicle. And then once I agree
Right.
for them to make the repairs and they tell me how much it's going to be, that's when they'll give me an estimate. I'm just saying, I'm
Hmm.
just letting you know how I communicate with my uh my auto, because you're linking it to that. So me, whenever I
Right,
take
right,
my truck to the Nissan house, they're gonna get it in there. They're gonna send me a text, and then they're gonna say, "Hey, this is what we find was wrong with your car. Do you approve of it? And this is the estimate. I got to check yes or no. If I check yes, then they're expected a payment." Well,
right,
that didn't happen in this particular case, so I cannot use analogies or um, comparisons from other
right,
shops.
right, right, right.
So
Right.
if I were
So,
to do
so,
that, if I were
so
to
to
do
answer your question, no, there's nothing saying it's supposed to be paid when I got through the repairs.
I got you. But you did get some payment of 540.78. The only thing that comes to question is the proof that they are tax exempt, because you didn't get all of your money. And so this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
All right. Uh, I'm going to give you, Ms. BAME, the opportunity to provide not only me, but to Mr. Brown, proof that you're tax exempt, because he needs that as well, because he has to file taxes to the federal government. And so he has to provide some type of documentation showing that work was done and, this is what was done, so forth. That's what we have to do as contractors. And so with that being said, I'm going to reset this case. It's going to be roughly within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Both of you will receive hearing letters via electronically, as well as first class mail of the hearing date. At that time, I'm going to be looking for proof that you are tax exempt. If that's the case, you should not have to pay him the amount of money in question. And then with regards to the court costs, I'm kind of, depending on whether or not she can provide me with proof, will depend on whether or not she's going to have to pay that court cost. Because if she paid you within a certain time frame, a time frame that you didn't specifically say so in your invoice, you're considered timely paid. I think you may have rushed it, but I won't know until she provides me with some type of proof that they're tax exempt, because she didn't pay you all your money. That's going to be the question. And I think that she should have provided that to you even beforehand, because she told you we're tax exempt and paid you the 540, but didn't even provide you with proof. But we're here in
Correct.
court. We're here in
Mhm.
court. And I'm not mediating. I'm just trying to make sense of all of this. I will encourage you to do one thing no matter what happens. You may want to change how you invoice people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we're going to reset this particular hearing. Both of you receive hearing letters in the mail. Whatever, Ms. Bain, whatever you submit to me, you need to submit to Mr. Brown. He needs to have that proof, because that is part of his case, that you are tax exempt. Okay?
Okay, can I say one more thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Just in regards to like what you were saying, Judge. I mean, like as a business, the way that a business runs typically is like we're billed for things. I mean, and we're also given a price like beforehand. like on, a vehicle about what something's going to cost, and, we were never given that.
Ms.
And
Bang,
then,
Bang, Ms. Bang, I'm not going to go any further because y'all saw him working on that vehicle beforehand. So we're not even going
Cowards.
to my
Okay.
analysis. We're not even going to go there. Okay. All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.